But in terms of a stock performance, well, we have Mr. Dipan Mehta, Director of Elixir Equities, who joins us. Hi, Dipan. Dipan, what's the view on Vedanta? 270, 280, that's been the broad range out there. Now, Mr. Agarwal says that don't worry about the debt at Vedanta Resources. He is looking at shareholder value, wants to pay out dividends. At one point of time, he also suggested maybe there could be a bonus in the offering if the board recommends it. What's your view?
Yeah, good morning, Nigel, and thank you for having me on your show. I think you know my view. We have discussed metal stocks many times on your shows. And, as a long-term investor, I just can't stomach the volatility which comes with these metal stocks. And you need the right different type of a mindset to invest in these companies. Deep contrarian type of strategy only works over here. And I think that Vedanta and a lot of the other metal stocks are getting to levels where they'll be extremely attractive. And then it's been like almost a year or so where prices of commodities have been declining. Maybe give it another year of such declining prices, and then the cyclicality will start to come in and these prices will start to move up. But at this point of time, I think from an investor perspective, there are many other choices outside of the metal space where investors could look at. I think next 1 to 2 years looks very exciting for the metal consumers rather than the metal producers. And that's where I think we need to focus on.
Okay, well, the other thing I wanted to speak about is the auto sales for the month of May. And Dipan, I wanted your thoughts on that. This time expected to be slightly subdued, especially in spaces like two-wheelers. Even medium and heavy commercial vehicles have not grown as much as perhaps what the street was expecting. What do you do? Are there any stocks within this basket that you still like, or would you stay away entirely?
See, good morning, Sonia. I think in the two-wheeler space, we need to be selective. And I think looking forward to Eicher Motors numbers, especially how Royal Enfield has performed. And I think the quarterly results were pretty decent for Eicher, and hopefully monthly numbers also will come through. They have a huge export opportunity, and they've expanded the distribution network, which should enable them to sustain decent monthly growth rates. And overall in the auto industry, our preferences for the passenger vehicles, where there are huge waiting lists. We heard what M&M had to say, and even Maruti, which is doubling its capacity. So I think new models which are coming through are certainly reducing the life of ownership, and therefore we're having more churn. And that's a good proposition for the OEMs like, say, Maruti or M&M, and that's where I think investors can get some amount of outperformance. Ashok Leyland also is an interesting company, purely focused on medium and commercial heavy vehicles. And I think those numbers also could be pretty decent. Valuations are reasonable. And again, they have a huge export opportunity as well. So these are the four companies, Ashok Leyland, Maruti, M&M, and Eicher Motors within the auto space, which are looking quite interesting. But also auto ancillary also looks, there are some very good performers over there as well.
Okay, all right, Dipan, request you to just stay with us for a bit.
Dipan has been patiently waiting. Dipan, thanks for that. I just want your thoughts on a few names. So let's tackle the big result reactions yesterday. Names like Suzlon, Torrent Pharma. There's a company called Tega Industries, which rallied sharply. We had the managements of, I think, all three, maybe two of the three at least. Do you like any of them out of the three?
No, not really, but certainly the numbers were better than what we were expecting and what the street was also expecting. I think in Torrent Pharma's case, this is one company which is got a large proportion of revenues coming from the domestic market, and that has helped them in good stead. And given the kind of numbers that they have declared, also they're in Latin America, so the contribution from US generics is limited compared to its peer group, like say a Sun Pharma or Cadila, or even Lupin for that matter. And I think that from all the pharma companies, growth rates may be slightly higher, but then valuations are also on the premium side. The second company you said was Suzlon. This is one company, I think, which we are seeing early signs of a turnaround over there. But I just want to wait and watch for a couple of more quarters to assess how the business is shaping up.
Okay.
And any view on Tega?
No, sorry, Nigel, don't track that company. But if it's interesting, then let me look at it.
All right. And, Prashant, we'll have the management at around 10:35 a.m. today. Tega Industries, the big mover yesterday. So you said 2 out of 3. I think we've got...
We'll cover 2 out of 3.
We'll have Tega at around 10:35.
Dipan, just a few other names. Actually, it was such a rich market with stocks jumping. Like, for example, let's pull these up. Arman Financial, Spandana, PNB Housing. Big moves, huge volumes yesterday. Dixon went up from the industrial space, ABB, NRB Bearings, textile names, Arvind, Gokul Das, Himmat Singh Ka Seed, just a plethora of moves, results, reactions, non-results, but the broader market just has come alive. Any of these names strike a chord?
See, Prashant, I think this will be one of the very good earnings season after many quarters. And as you said, all of these companies are all investment ideas. One needs to dig a bit deeper. And after a long slumber, they are coming up alive, not only in terms of their quarterly performance, but also stock price movement, obviously. And that just kind of, strengthens our case that we seem to be entering a new bull phase, and you need to focus on small mid-cap companies, especially maybe, companies which have been in trouble for so far, but now I think because of better environment, they should start to do better. Companies like Spandana you spoke about, and some of the other housing finance companies, because NBFC sector is doing very well. That's also true for capital goods manufacturing companies and related ancillaries as well. So many sectors doing well, and many companies, small mid-sized companies within those sectors also doing well. So I would just like to say that as we exit this earnings season, there are more investment ideas than when we entered it. And I think next few months are exciting for the small mid-cap space.
Okay. So, some of these spaces have come back in a big way, right? Midcap IT, for example, Dipan. And yesterday, KPIT Technologies hit an all-time high, hit a fresh 52-week high. And that one has come back, both in terms of volumes as well as price action. But fundamentals-wise, is there still more upside in some of these names?
See, I think, Sonia, they are priced to perfection. And that's what is a bit of an issue with the likes of Tata Elixir, KPIT, Persistent Systems. You may add Coforge also to that name. And even analyst expectations, street expectations are on the higher side. So maybe making a fresh investment at these levels, the risk return profile will not justify it. But existing investors, I think, who held on to the stock despite all the challenges and the negative sentiment around IT stocks, I think they are going to enjoy a good run-up over the next few months or quarters. So they would remain invested, but fresh investment, I would just like to buy perhaps at a decline.
Okay, final question, Dipan. We know you don't like metals, but what about coal? There's a divestment. Government of India is looking to sell maybe at most 3% stake, and it's coming at a sharp discount. Valuations are in Coal India's favor. Would you look to put some money out there or give it a pass?
No, but I think that there are a class of investors, value investors, who prefer these kind of situations. And if the stock is available at a discount with a dividend yield, why not, I think. But from a growth investor's perspective, we want to avoid such companies.